Hi everybody, I'm Jared Pike. This is Shell Point Today for the weekend of June 14th, 15th, and 16th. On today's show, Nordic walking instructor Lindy Smith explains how physical activity goes hand in hand with all the other aspects of LifeQuest. But first, remember that the Shell Point version of Family Feud is happening this Friday afternoon. We're calling it Friendly Feud. But expect fierce competition as the teams of residents try to guess what the survey says. Come cheer on the contestants at Friendly Feud, happening Friday at 2 p.m. in the Social Center on the island. It's a free event and all are welcome. Also, remember that this Sunday is Father's Day and the Crystal Room is offering special meal plans. Their Father's Day brunch will include breakfast favorites like Eggs Benedict and breakfast pastries, as well as hand-carved prime rib and roast pork. Of course, you have an endless variety of side items to pick from and a chocolate overload station for dessert. The all-you-can-eat Father's Day brunch is only $17.50 and is open this Sunday at the Crystal Room from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. The meal planners at the Crystal have embraced LifeQuest, Shell Point's new approach to wellness, which encourages residents to explore wellness in 6 different categories: physical, emotional, spiritual, educational, community and social, and natural environment. For example, a meal at the Crystal not only fulfills a physical need, but it's also a community and social opportunity. The same is true with exercise, whether it's taking an exercise class at the pool or Nordic walking indoors in the church. Instructor Lindy Smith can help you meet all of your LifeQuest goals, and she's going to talk about it at a special Health Connection class next Thursday, June 20th at 1:15 in the Social Center. Mary Franklin has more.
I'm Mary Franklin with Lindy Smith today to talk about an upcoming Health Connections program that also talks about the LifeQuest program. Lindy is a certified AFAS instructor, and she's going to talk about LifeQuest, the physical dimension, and how does it relate. This program will take place on Thursday, June 20th at 1:15 in the Manatee Room. Lindy, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Now, you've been around property for the last couple of years and you've seen LifeQuest grow, and you are also an instructor in other places, and physical fitness is part of your own life. But you've witnessed some amazing things with people when they come to one of your programs. It ends up they come for the physical, but they leave with much more. Can you further talk about that a little bit?
I think that anytime a group of Shell Point residents gets together, number one, it's fun, and everybody learns from each other. But besides that, I think that the time that I've spent here, we've actually touched on many of the LifeQuest dimensions without even having a name for them.
Right, right. And so you were very excited when we put the LifeQuest program together. And so physical fitness, how does it relate to the emotional dimension?
I would say that in our active and not so active older adults, they have stress just like everybody else. And there are high days and there are low days. And when you get in with a group of people and you're doing something together with a physical goal of being upright and moving, it really does change your mood.
That is good. And natural environment, you just take it outdoors, right?
Right. You're so lucky to have the property here to walk on. There's all different surfaces, and there's a reason to get outside.
Right. It's beautiful, and you spot a dolphin or a manatee along the way. Educational? How can fitness be educational?
I learn from the residents. I have such a ball with them because they tell me things and we learn from each other. The education that I provide is education about how to lead an upright life, how to watch your posture, how to watch where you are in space. You know, that's the education I give, but I get so much back.
Right, and they can take that education and use it in their everyday, working around their home or traveling, and keep those reminders in the back of their head.
Right.
Spiritual.
Spiritual is an interesting dimension because I think that when I Nordic walk personally, I have my own little prayer system built in. I think about things and I really enjoy being reflective. And there is a part of my class where I ask the residents to concentrate on what they're thinking about while they're walking, which when you pair two things, you know, a mental activity with physical is very good as we age.
Right. And community and social, you touched on that at the very beginning. You get a group of people together all working towards one common goal, and you're going to have fun. Right.
I find that at Shell Point, even if people don't know each other, even if I don't put name tags on, people are so friendly and they're introducing each other. This is so-and-so, this is so-and-so, and not only themselves, that by the end of the first class, we all know each other.
Well, we are lucky to have you because not only are you an instructor, but you have been guest speakers at many fitness organizations and fitness retreats and so forth. So this is just a tip of the iceberg of what you're going to be talking about, and thank you for coming here today. If you would like to sign up for this program, you can do so at either service desk. It's the LifeQuest Physical Dimension. How does it relate? On Thursday, June 20th at 1:15 in the Manatee Room. I'm Mary Franklin with Lindy Smith. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Coming up, we are replaying some of the week's best stories from Shell Point TV. But before we do that, let's cover all of this weekend's happenings: Academy news, menus, and church news.
Welcome everybody to the weekend edition of Shell Point TV. I'm Bev Chandley. This is Suzanne Savada, and we're going to go over your whole lineup for the weekend. At 8:15, the Stamp Ministry volunteers will be working in the stamp room down in the tunnel. 8:30 to 11:30, we have the Marketplace and Administration Courtyard. Don't forget to go down there and check out what's going on at the Marketplace. 9 o'clock's the time for round robin men's doubles tennis down at the Woodlands Tennis Courts. And at 10 o'clock, we have genealogy. That'll be held in the Sable Room at the Woodlands. At 10:15, the Inquiring Minds will be in the Osprey Room. Then we move to the afternoon at 12:30, where you'll find mixed progressive bridge. That'll be held in the game room of the Woodlands. At 1:15, table tennis will be available in the Tarpon Room. Also at 1:15, the quilters will be in the Osprey Room. 1:30 is the time Vespers will be at the community room of the Arbor. Now euchre will be played in the Sable Room at 2 o'clock down at the Woodlands. Also at 2 o'clock, we have the Friendly Feud. That'll be in the Social Center. Do go to that. Even if you're not going to participate, go to watch. It'll be a lot of fun. At 2:45, Vespers will be in the community room of King's Crown. Our last activity for the day is 6:45, game night at the Resident Activity Center. Grab a friend, run down there, and have some fun. Now here's Suzanne with the Saturday lineup for you.
Thanks, Bev. We'll start Saturday off at 8 o'clock with round robin men's doubles tennis meeting out at the tennis courts at the Woodlands. And at 9 o'clock, we have a trip leaving Saturday at the Mercado Shops in Naples. Court pickups will begin at 9 o'clock on the island, 9:10 at the Woodlands, and 9:20 at Eagles Preserve. Sign up is required. At 9:45, duplicate bridge will take place in the Manatee Room on the island. And at 10:15, the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be out at the Commons Lake at the Woodlands. At 1 o'clock, chess will be played in the Library Lounge of the Resident Activity Center. And at 1:15, table tennis will take place in the Tarpon Room on the island and will be available to play all weekend. At 3:15, basic line dancing will take place in the Health Club on the island. And at 6:30, duplicate bridge will be in the Manatee Room, also on the island. Now, here's Bev for Sunday.
Sunday morning, we're going to start out at 9 o'clock with Christian Life Studies in the game room of the Woodlands. 9:15, Christian Life Studies will be at the Village Church. Our morning worship service at the Village Church begins at 10:15. Also will be broadcast live on Shell Point TV, Channel 12, at the same time. At 2 o'clock, we have Mixed Golf League. That'll be at the Shell Point Golf Club. And we conclude the Sunday activities with a 6:15 evening service at the Village Church. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you had a great weekend.
Hi, I'm Terry Coleth with your Academy information for Flag Day. At 10:15, we have a Facebook Basics on the iPad, starting in the Manatee Room of the Island. Sign up is required. Next week, we have a couple new classes for you. On Tuesday, Professor Adrian Kerr will present Muscat, Jewel of the Persian Gulf. And on Wednesday, Sharon Terrestini of Lakewood will present Pin Weaving. And also our second legacy seminar of the semester focused on pre-planning.
Menus for your weekend. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter on Friday is seafood Newburgh with rice and a vegetable blend. The dinner special is the seafood buffet for $14.95, and the soup of the day is New England clam chowder. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Friday, enjoy a seafood salad croissant with fresh fruit for $6.95. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Friday are lamb chops for $20.95 or crab cakes for $16.95. On Saturday, the Crystal Room is closed. In the Island Cafe for lunch on Saturday, enjoy a meatball sub with chips for $6.95. Or for dinner, the special is eggplant Vulcan with spaghetti Norma for $7.95. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill on Saturday are prime rib for $18.95 or stuffed shrimp for $14.95. On Sunday, the Crystal Room features the Father's Day brunch for $17.50. In the Island Cafe for lunch, enjoy a Western bacon cheeseburger with onion rings for $6.95. The dinner special is Chef's Choice for $7.95. And the Palm Grill is closed on Sundays. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
I'm Randy Woods, and it's good to be with you today. We're looking forward to the weekend, especially the Sunday services as we share together in worship. This Sunday, as we come together, David Pavey is going to be our guest speaker Sunday morning. We're looking forward to your message on Sunday. And as we share together, most recently you spoke about the two things that God wants you to know. And understand that there are two more things that God wants you to know that you're going to be addressing this Sunday.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, the last sermon was based on the theme of Joseph's two sons, if I remember correctly. One was forgiveness.
Forgetting and fruitfulness. Yeah.
Okay.
But there you have to forgive to forget, I think, and that was the point there. Yeah, so we have two more things coming up.
So you apparently have another lesson from the book of Genesis?
I have another lesson, but it's not from the book of Genesis. It's the next book in the Bible, to give you a clue. And it centers on another Bible character who's quite well known.
That must be Moses.
It is Moses.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, he had a remarkable childhood.
He did indeed. I mean, imagine being pulled out of the river and then given back to your mother and offered to a princess to be brought up. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, like Joseph, Moses had two sons.
He did eventually, but it took him a while to get there. He spent a lot of years in the palace in Memphis, and then he made a bold choice. He went out in the world and tried to be a leader of his people before God had really called him to do that. Mm-hmm. And so he made a huge mistake, which we'll hear about. But the two sons come later, because the great news here is that God can take our mistakes and turn them around for blessing, which is an amazing thing. I think it was Charles Colson who said, God took my biggest mistake and made it into a ministry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So that's a message of encouragement for everybody.
Oh, it surely is. Well, we'll look forward to Sunday morning as you speak in the 10:15 worship service, and also Sunday morning and Sunday evening. We appreciate so much the faithful, talented people who serve among us like yourself. Sunday morning, Elva Matthews is going to be serving as organist. Elva from Solana Court. Good. And then Doug and Janice Peoples will be sharing in music as well from Eagles Preserve. Doug is a fine singer, and of course Janice, a very talented pianist. Amen. So the ministry will be well complemented by those who serve at the instruments and for Doug as he sings. And then in the evening service at 6:15, Al McNally will be speaking.
Good.
So we look forward to a time of celebration and worship and invite you to join us. That's Sunday here at the Village Church. If you're not able to attend the service in the morning, you can always tune in to Channel 12 and watch the morning broadcast as the service is broadcast live. It's going to be a wonderful weekend, and invite you to join us as we share together at the Village Church.
It's time for our ShellPoint TV Week in Review. And we began this week looking at an amazing orchid that has, in the last month, grown 2 stems more than 6 feet long.
This plant is Epidendrum schubertia. also known as the trumpet player's Schimbergia. You can fashion them into a horn, and supposedly you can call your children home from playtime. They are epiphytes. This particular one also grows on rocks. They grow in the trees, they attach themselves to the trees, but they don't take any nutrients out of the trees. They get all their nutrients and everything they need pretty much out of the air. There's like a lot of varieties of this particular orchid. It comes in different colors, but this actual one is the species. This is like the original one that hasn't been crossbred with anything. So the pseudobulb, as you can see, is hollow, and it usually has a hole right here, which the ants live inside, and they have a symbiotic relationship with this particular orchid, as they use nectar from the orchid to feed on, and then they also bring dead matter and dead insects into the pseudobulb, which is used by the orchid for nutrition. This plant is native to dry, arid regions through Central America, and most of the time it doesn't look like too much. It's just the pseudobulbs growing here. But come around May, it starts forming this spike which comes out of the ends of these slowly, and after about a month, as you can see, we start blooming, and they can actually grow up to 15 foot. The old ones start here, they bloom, and as they get older, they just form more buds and keep blooming till it's over. So we have like over 40 orchids here now. Some were donated by residents. We actually, when we started out, we bought some small orchids, and that was like about 7 years ago. And some of them still haven't bloomed yet. Some of them bloomed first time this year. Now, we also had we just put recently 14 more, mostly Phalaenopsis, shade-loving orchids. They were donated from the orchid house. And just recently, a couple days ago, I attached them to the trees with strings and some tape and stuff, and they will eventually root, and we can take that off and they'll be established. As a matter of fact, some of these older ones, you can see the roots growing right down the base of the tree. They extend maybe like 3-4 foot. And they don't harm the tree. You know, it's just the way they attach themselves. I like them all. That's why I want to get more of them up here, because I want them to have something blooming all the time. And there's actually a few that I donated. There's one on the front tree over by the light way up high, which blooms about Easter time. I put it up by the light there so you can see it at night. I like to look at that one, and there's a few new ones that have just started blooming this year, which I really like too. The big yellow one over there is beautiful. We have comments all the time. People come through here and see them bloom, and they go, "Oh, this is beautiful."
We heard the story of Millie Stackhouse, who helped to bring a family of Vietnamese boat people to the United States more than 30 years ago.
I'm from New Jersey. I was born in Highland Park, New Jersey, right near New Brunswick. My husband was in the Navy, in the Dental Corps. He had a practice in Plainfield, New Jersey, and then later in Berkeley Heights. We belonged to the Methodist Church in Madison, New Jersey, and were very active in it. At the time, we were chairman of the Missions Commission. There was a lot in the paper about the boat families coming from, mostly from Vietnam, some Laos and Cambodia. When the communists took over, these people left the country by small boat. There were 30-some in the boat. They anchored out in the harbor till night for the father to, he would have been taken because he had been in the Vietnamese Air Force, and he had been in prison for 3 years after the war. He didn't dare go and be seen, so he swam out to the boat at night and joined them, and they left. They landed first in Malaysia, but they were turned down. They wouldn't let them in. So they went to Indonesia, and they were there almost a year before they were able to come to the United States. And our church, the Madison Methodist Church, had put in a request about almost a year beforehand that we wanted to have a family if possible. We were very much in favor of it, but there were some in the church who weren't. It took a while to get everybody to decide that we could. This was a very expensive project to take a family and do everything that needed to be done. There were 5 children. The oldest child was 9, that was a girl, and then a girl 8, a boy 5, and twin girls 3, almost 4. And one of the twins had to be left behind because she was ill, and she stayed with a grandmother. And it was 5 years before we got her. They left Indonesia and came by plane to Newark, New Jersey, stopping off at several places on the way. This was in January of 1980, 31 years ago. We met them at 5:30 on a January morning. They were dressed in sandals and summer clothes, but we had filled the car with heavy clothes, jackets and woolen caps and so forth, including mittens, which the children had never seen before. When they ate breakfast, the girls wouldn't take their mittens off. That was one thing that amused us. And then the next day, we took them to buy shoes, and Feng, the mother, saw high-heeled shoes, and that's what she wanted. And we did not think that was going to be appropriate for her. And Kong wanted a real man's hat. He didn't. So my husband took him into the store there and got that. Our church was on the border of Drew University, which was founded as a Methodist seminary originally. Drew University was very helpful to us. They had several houses on the campus for graduate students, and there was one house that was vacant. So they let us rent that. We got furniture and everything that was needed for the house, and got clothes for the whole family, and did everything that was necessary to get them settled. I was in charge of maintenance for the family. I had a big chart on my desk, day, hour, person, so forth, and who was going to help, like taking the children to school, picking the children up, taking the parents to language class, taking them shopping, to the doctors, everything. Just wanted to do whatever we could for them day by day. That whole first year, I didn't do much else. It was so important to keep the schedule straight and to know where they were, and if the babysitter didn't show up, we had to go there. So it was a big responsibility, but it was very, very well worth it. Took the children to school. I took the little boy to kindergarten. And I was worried that he would not want to stay and, that he'd be upset. He went into the room, and across the room were some children playing. He went over and, goodbye. Didn't even know that I had left. So that worked out well. And the girls were in a different school, so a different person took them. And the children learned English very easily. I thought they handled it beautifully. I mean, there were times, of course, that I'm sure they were very discouraged and upset. Kong had never driven a car. My husband taught him to drive. And, everybody worked together. The whole church really backed it up. And it was a wonderful experience for us to see this happening. The oldest girl went to Rutgers and majored in pharmacy. And she's been working in pharmacy ever since, out in California. And the next girl was also in pharmacy, and she got her doctorate. Then Peter was next, and he lives in San Francisco and works for a biomedical company doing research. And he's going to pharmacy school at night. And then the twins, the older girl lives in Pennsylvania. She and her twin sister had babies on the same day, 10 months ago. Well, I hadn't seen the parents for about 10 years. Christina, one of the twins, they have 3 small children. They took them to Disney World. And they had sent me an email just a few days before they came. It said, "We will spend Friday with you." It was fantastic. And Feng, the mother, just kept hugging me all day. She sat here and she just wanted to be right by me all the time. So it was very touching. I held the tears until after they had gone. But it was a very lovely time together. We're so proud of them.
Lilly & Company Jewelers are now coming to Shell Point every Wednesday afternoon to help with your jewelry needs. Here's more about them.
Hi, I'm Mary Franklin from Resort Services, here today with Danielle Simeo from Lilly & Company, the jeweler on Sanibel, because they're going to start a weekly service here at Shell Point to offer many opportunities to you. But first, let me introduce you to Danielle. Danielle, thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You are no stranger to Shell Point. Tell me a little bit about your background.
A few years ago, I went to nursing school, and so I did serve a clinical rotation here, and had the opportunity of having many different experiences throughout the community. And in addition to that, several of my fellow classmates are now employed here. And so yes, I'm very familiar with the community.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you back here and representing Lilly this time. Now, Lilly has a very unique marketing opportunity, and we all know who Lilly is if we've driven out to Sanibel. Can you fill us in?
Lilly is a Labradoodle who will be celebrating her 9th birthday at the end of this month. She is the pet of one of our owners. And so you see her in all of our different advertising, adorned with different jewelry and accessories, and she's quite the little diva dog.
Oh, she's a lucky dog.
Yes, she is.
She is a very lucky dog to be able to wear the beautiful jewelry. Now, you're going to be coming out every Wednesday at 4 o'clock. What can our residents expect from you as a service to them?
We will be able to offer jewelry repair service, watch battery replacement, repair, jewelry cleaning, watch cleaning. We will be able to offer pearl restringing services. We also offer gold buying services if you had pieces you wish to sell, and also if you were in the market for a special gift item, we would be able to assist with that as well.
Well, that's great, and you'll be able to turn them around depending on the level of service they need, but you most likely would take their item back to the store, do what you need to do, and bring it back a following week, or maybe later if it had some extensive repair work.
In most cases, we would expect the 1 week turnaround time, and yes, there would be exceptions, but they would be rare.
Now, I had the opportunity to go visit you and the owners out at Lilly, and I was very impressed on how your organization and company supports the local artists. And not only is there local artists who create jewelry, but also some unique items as well that you can sit around your home and decorate your home with. So we really look forward to teaming up with you and offering some programs where we can have a Meet the Artist night at Lilly.
We're hoping for the same.
Yes, it will be really nice. So if you're interested in that, watch out. Your Shell Point Life will have more information about future programs that we'll do with Lilly. But in the meantime, if you need any repairs to your jewelry or it needs a cleaning, make sure to be in the egret room on Wednesdays at 4 o'clock. Come and see Danielle and see what she can do to help you out. I'm Mary Franklin with Danielle. Have a great day.
A group of woodworkers from Bentley Village in Naples recently visited Shell Point to help collaborate on a project for charity.
Recently, a group of Shell Point woodworkers hosted several fellow woodworkers from Bentley Village. After a lunch at the Palm Grill, the group took a tour of Shell Point. And our residents Bill Reif, Ken Trieber, Fuzz Farrell, Pete Bickett, and George DeSelles were pleased to show them around our wonderful wood shop. Besides their love for woodworking, this group shares another common passion, helping children. They have teamed up to make wooden toy cars for children in need as part of the Toys for God's Kids program. Last year, they produced more than 300 cars and sent them to hospitalized children in Mali, West Africa, and to U.S. troops in Afghanistan. Over the holiday season, they also supplied cars to the Toys for Tots and Operation Christmas Child programs. The group also had the opportunity to meet with Craig Schneider of Suncoast Contractors Supply, who happens to be the husband of our own Assistant Vice President for Public Relations and Marketing, Lynn Schneider. As part of Builders Without Borders, Craig is preparing for a September trip to Rwanda to continue work on the Kigali Christian School there. The woodworkers are giving him toy cars to load into the container that the Builders Without Borders group is shipping to Kigali, Rwanda in June in preparation for their trip. In turn, Schneider is donating scrap lumber from the Suncoast Contractor Supply to make more cars for needy children. The woodworkers have been cutting the car shapes and wheels from scraps from various sources. The only store-bought components are dowel rods that become car axles. They sand the cars and finish them with linseed oil and mineral spirits, which make them non-toxic. The final touch is a Toys for God's Kids and USA stamp on the bottom of each car. Ken Trieber estimates that so far, they've created 500 cars this year. He said that all the guys are excited about supplying cars for the children in Kigali and working with Builders Without Borders, an organization with a mission that aligns perfectly with that of Toys for God's Kids. Craig Schneider, who is making his second visit to Kigali in September, is very pleased with the partnership and is looking forward to seeing the kids get the new toy cars. Everyone agrees that it's wonderful to see all these folks working together to make it happen.
Tuesday nights are stir-fry nights at the Crystal Room. Never been to a stir-fry night? Well, here's what you're missing. That sound you hear is the sizzling of shrimp, beef, chicken, all made to order for you. It's stir-fry night here in the Crystal Room. Tuesday nights, stir-fry night. With me is Greg Pindara, Dining Operations Manager. Greg, tell me what makes stir-fry night so wonderful.
Well, a couple of different things. It's very healthy for you because they're all fresh vegetables, and it's cooked to order, so it's as fresh as you can get. The steam is coming off the plate as the cook puts the stir-fry back onto your plate. Those are the two most important parts about stir-fry. Healthy and hot.
Yes. And you get soup and salad bar?
Yes, soup and salad bar are included with the stir-fry, as well as a choice of your vegetables that you want to put into your stir-fry, the choice of your meat, shrimp, chicken, or beef, so you customize the stir-fry to what you like.
And how many trips do you get?
As many as you want.
So step one is here at the buffet where you have vegetables. Let's go through the choices here.
Okay, you get yourself an empty plate, and you take your lo mein noodles, your bok choy, your water chestnuts, your green onions, your baby corn, your carrots, your white onions, your peppers, red and green peppers, your bean sprouts, your sugar snap peas, your mushrooms, and your broccoli. While he's cooking your vegetables at the stir-fry station, they'll ask you if you want your shrimp, chicken, or beef, and add that to your stir-fried vegetables. Then, about halfway through, they'll ask you if you want sweet and sour sauce or teriyaki sauce. And then they'll add that, they'll finish it, and pour it right back onto your plate.
Now, you can have shrimp, beef, chicken, but you can also just have vegetables. Is that right?
A lot of people, we have some vegetarians that just come on this night because they can have a vegetarian stir fry, and that satisfies their needs.
Now, Greg, I see something new here, appetizers.
Yes, on Tuesday nights we do offer appetizers now. We've got fried wontons, we've got pot stickers, and glazed wings. Here, let me show you a little bit.
Oh, I like all these things.
Woo!
Now, Greg, tell us how much it is and when Stir Fry Night is during the week.
Okay, every Tuesday night is Stir Fry Night, and it's $11.95. And you have to remember, you get soup, salad, appetizers, and your stir fry, as much as you can eat. So we're welcome to have you out on a Tuesday night. The cost is $11.95.
So Tuesday night, Stir Fry Night at the Crystal, all you can eat. Stack those plates high, and you'll get a great meal here at the Crystal Room. We visited the sailors of the Model Yacht Club, who hold regattas every Wednesday and Saturday.
Charlie actually was the one that started the club, and he somehow found that Alice and I were sailors, and he invited us to a meeting. He had a boat to show us, and he told us what it was all about. And Alice and I have been sailors all our lives, so we decided to join. And Alice is the sailor, I run the races, and that's how we got started, and we've been doing it ever since.
Well, I came to Shell Point a little less than a year ago. I had sailed one of these boats before, but I saw this club, and they're all good sailors, so I decided to join and learn from the competition. This is a Victoria. It's a little over 31 inches long. Has a nice keel on it.
I bought this all assembled, so well, this boat is pretty much a stock boat, although I did put in a lighter mast and booms.
Most of us have performance sails, and we've changed the mast and the booms to get more speed out of the boat.
So you can kind of customize it.
You can customize it.
Well, I can build a boat easy in a week because I've built about 15 of them so far. A screwdriver, scissors, glue, and follow directions. The directions are very clear, very nice.
Now inside the boat you have controls, and this particular arm pulls the sails in and out. And there's a servo that does that. And there's a servo in the back that moves the rudder with this arm that comes back here. So you basically just have two controls. The one switch for the rudder and one switch for the sails. Both sails move together.
So it's not too complicated.
Not too complicated. It's the sailing part, and rounding the ducks, that's the complicated part. Good course with the ducks out there. We use them as marks. And you learn very quickly not to hit the duck because the beak holds on to you.
When the boat's coming towards you, left is right and right is left, so that takes a little getting used to. If you were on the boat, naturally you can feel the wind and you know which way to turn, but when they're half a mile down the pond there, you have to kind of guess at it.
Ideal conditions is anything under about 11 miles per or knots per hour.
The only propulsion you have is the wind on the sails. There are no electric motors in these boats. And the wind comes across the sail. The velocity is higher in the back than it is here, and you get a vacuum form which actually pulls the boat. Normally it would try to pull it sideways, but with the big keel resisting that force, the vector drives the boat forward. And so you can sail about 35 degrees to the apparent wind. You have to tack back and forth 35 degrees here and 35 here, and you can make your way upstream.
The challenge in sailing the boat is simply to keep it moving.
Oh.
As you saw today, we got knocked down a lot, and when you go over too far, or when you get hit by a gust, the boat tends to round up, and it will very quickly stop if you don't adjust the rudder to keep its nose down and keep it into the wind. We try to read the ripples and stay in the ripples because there should be wind near the ripples, but you can get off in the horse latitudes, or you can luck out and you'll catch the wind and the other people are in the latitudes.
There is a little bit of fierce competition. There's no doubt about it. Yeah, that happens.
We don't have, there's no money involved. There's no race trophies involved. It's just fun. That's all it is. We try and have 5 races a session, and we have 2 classes. Some of our members never owned a boat in their lives before they joined, so and some of them, like Charlie, sailed all his life. Alice and I have been married 60 years. We started sailing together before we were married, so it's quite a big mix. But you don't need an awful lot of experience to have a lot of fun. That's what we try and tell everybody.
When my boat wasn't working at all, Charlie came along and he said, "Now, Alice," this was just last Saturday, he came along and he said, "Now, Alice, you can do it." He stood beside me. Now, I've been sailing for 5 years on these little boats. He stood beside me, and here's my boat with the sails flopping all over because I hadn't rigged it properly. He talked me around the course, and I was first. So, we've got people that can really help you out here, and everybody's very willing to help each other.
Wednesdays and Saturdays, we start our race at 10:15 and we're over by 11:30. What we would like to have is people come down and just watch us. We have extra boats. We could lend people to just sail around and get the hang of it, and maybe they'll be interested enough to get their own boat. We're informal, we have a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about, really.
I think it's a real diversion. It's like any boat. You always can think of something to do to it to make it perform just a little bit better.
I've been sailing since I've been 5 year old. To me, it's fun. I enjoy it.
When you're sailing, you don't have to worry about anything else.
We're a fun club, and we'd like to have more fun people join us.
There's a new fabric art form called pin weaving, and you can learn how to do it at an Academy class next week.
Hello everyone, I am here today with Sharon Terrestini of Lakewood. We're talking about her class in the Academy of Lifelong Learning. Thank you for joining me, Sharon.
Thank you, I'm happy to be here.
Well, let me say first off that you're going to teach pin weaving for textile art, and we're going to explain what that is. Tell us, what is pin weaving for textile art?
Well, it's very easy actually. I'm going to show you my bag of tricks.
All right.
It starts off with a foam core board. Simple. And I have little, you probably can't see that on the camera, but there are little dots here, and pins will go in there.
So you're making a loom?
We're making our own loom. Very inexpensive. And here's my bag of tricks.
All right.
First, we need to put in the pins.
And they're beautiful pins,
yes,
with little big heads.
Yes, they have to be big heads, so that and of course, then you have thread that you use for the warp, and you wrap around, and these Aren't they pretty?
Beautiful.
These are only a small segment of what we're going to be working with.
Now they're tubes of fabric.
They're tubes of
that you have sewn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I have a little gimmick so I can turn it inside out.
Wonderful.
You know?
You'll bring those to your attendees.
They're already made up, so they don't have to do any sewing as such like this. This would take too much time.
Right.
And then we have the embellishments. We have yarns and ribbons. I made this little braided thing, which I have a gizmo for that. I'm going to show how to use it. And so this, and our finished product then will be something like this. Actually, it'll be a little bigger.
So you are going to put the pins into the foam core and use these. And
we'll use this as our warp thread or something like it.
Right.
And wrap it around the pins. Okay.
And then braid.
And then we take our colors, whichever colors, there's millions of them, but that they want, and they'll start weaving, and in between them, to accentuate, there'll be yarns. And you see how these yarns...
Embellishment.
Yes, how they... and ribbons and so forth. Anything, really.
So this finished product, a little larger than this, the sky's the limit on what you can do with that. You could hang it on the wall, you could frame it, you could incorporate it into the back of a denim jacket. I mean, anything. It's just,
and you don't have, and you know, after you get good, you don't have to keep it a square or rectangle. You can start off with pins here, 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 going down and making to fit a pattern. Like a collar,
sure, or smocking that comes for a child. Oh, it's
so there's unlimited use, and those people who are knitters. I'm the fabric person, but knitters, they actually can do this too, and do sort of designs in there. I haven't done that, but I've seen it.
Wonderful. So let's be clear that not everybody's going to get into this class the first round, so we're hoping you'll do it again. And second of all, the lucky people who signed up right away are going to have a whole day together. They're going to bring their lunch, and we're going to take the Sable Room and make it into a weaving studio. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. So, Sharon, I always love to point out when our residents who are really experts at something and have a passion for something, not only have the generosity to share it with others as a volunteer, but also you keep pushing the edges. What else could I do with creativity? This is such a stunning example of someone who knows how to do the process and taking it in so many different directions. I love it.
Well, it's fun. I think if you want to go into art, you have to go into different areas and just kind of push the envelope. That's the fun of it. I don't like doing the same thing over and over. And this is just something new the last 3 or 4 years that I learned about the weaving, and then just the last couple years that I actually did the weaving.
Well, some of us are going to really enjoy Wednesday, June 19th. The rest of us hope that Sharon Terrestini has so much fun that she will do it again in another semester. It is called Pin Weaving for Textile Art. I'm Terry Kolath.
Today is Flag Day, and at Eagles Preserve, residents have Ray Burrows to thank for keeping the flag flying at their entrance. Let's learn more about her donation.
I am originally from Ohio. I was born in Springfield, Ohio, and I ended up in Cleveland, Ohio. My husband worked there for General Electric. My husband was a general manager of the lighting department, and very proud of that. He did a wonderful job. We have been coming down. My husband had a plant in Orlando, as well as some all over, and some friends of ours were here, Ted and Florence Blake at that time, and also Dr. Swedberg and his wife, and they encouraged us to come and look at Shell Point. When we looked at Shell Point, when he went through on a tour with Ted Benjamin, he noticed all the appliances were General Electric. So that made him want to come here too.
That was a point in our favor.
Right, exactly. And I lived at Eagles Preserve, wonderful, wonderful community, and just love it here. I've been here since the middle of 2007. We had come over January of 2005. By July of that year, he started to go down in his health, and we put him in the pavilion. But God's timing on that was perfect as far as having signed into Shell Point, so I'm thankful for that. He was a very, very special man. We would have been married 42 years this year. He was a part of the ROTC, and he didn't get a chance to he went 4 years, and right before graduation they deployed most of those of the ROTC from Purdue University. And from there then he had his degree in mechanical engineering, and they kept him here in the States all through those 4 years because he was an excellent design engineer. And he made parts for the bomber planes at that time. He's very private. I guess when you're in the service, a lot of that is top secret. So he kept that until the day he died. So I moved into Lucena on the island because there were no places open at that point. So I got to know the island quite well. And I was, every time I drove in through the gate, I saw these lovely flags. And then, of course, when I moved here, naturally at the Woodlands, the flag's flying. And yet when I moved in here, we had no flags. And I was just prompted to say, I'd love to contribute that way and give the Flagged Eagles Preserve in memory of. But not only for him, but for all veterans that have served our country. Right off of Davis Road in that plot that you go around. Beautiful, just beautiful. So thankful. Oriana and I go down and we walk by it almost every morning. We salute it. But I'm just so thankful for Shell Point. They were just wonderful.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in next week for more stories and news from around your community. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for the weekend of June 14th, 15th, and 16th. I'm Jared Pike, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.